Hey everybody, this is Matthew from Nerd News Today. Welcome to another wrestling figure review here. This is a look at a figure that came out a little while ago, but I finally got my hands on it. And it's a wrestler who I'd never expected we'd get a Mattel figure from, but man, am I happy we have one today. This time around from WWE Elite Series 108, we're looking at Terry Gordy, aka the Executioner. That's what makes this so curious to me is, this is essentially two figures in one with our Terry Gordy figure here. And man, if they're not going to do another figure of him again, this is the way to do it. So real quick, let's talk about this packaging here. This is the current 2024 and I guess late 2023 style packaging, which we haven't really looked at much of this channel because we took a break from wrestling figures for a bit, or at least mainstream releases. But I do like the packaging. I like how it's slimmed down. I like how it's pretty easy, nice design elements. I like all the different diagonal art elements that you're seeing in this kind of match the WWE logo. But one of the things I don't like as much is just the lack of window space. It's a much smaller window than what we're used to seeing with other releases from Mattel. And for me as an autograph collector, that means a lot less space to put an autograph. Now, granted, I won't be getting Terry Gordy's autograph on this figure anytime soon, sadly. But there are other wrestlers who are now in the current roster or who are still with us that I'd love to get figures signed by, and this kind of just cuts down a lot how much space I can do that, because I'm used to having an autograph from, here to here, taking up as much space as possible. This makes it a lot more compact and not as interesting to me, but I don't dislike the packaging at all, and I also do like the little sunroof they have on top now. But again, just overall, a lot less window space, and that's kind of just to cut down on plastic. What I do like here is we've got an image of Terry Gordy with the UWF title. Again, talk about surprises, that's the UWF title. Now, oddly enough, but it makes sense here, he doesn't come with that title that's pictured here, and that's probably because he has this other very large accessory that you're seeing through this plastic here. But we do know that we are going to get a UWF title very, very soon in Target's upcoming WWE Legends series. But otherwise, it's simple, good, solid box. Good design. I'm happy with it. It's cool. I'm a loose collector for the most part, so who cares? On the side of the packaging, we've got the same image we saw on the front of Terry Gordy. And there's that UWF belt, which is just going to haunt me until I get that Big Bubba Rogers figure. But there it is, and on the opposite side, we have Terry Gordy's name, and it also reminds us, one more time, that this is his first appearance in Mattel form, which is so cool. Man, I'm still blown away that they're doing him, of all people, and that's not a complaint. I've wanted actually Terry Gordy legitimately for forever, and I was worried it was going to have to be coming to like a third-party figure company, but man, the fact that Mattel's doing this could be a big one for me. So at the back of the packaging, again, simple but very elegant, very classy kind of design on the back of these boxes lately. We've got a huge image, a huge photo of Terry Gordy here, along with just some cool angular design elements that have his name, that have his statistics, have his finisher there as well. And we've got a nice, very short, and I mean that by short, very short, succinct bio, which says, whether the enforcer of the fabulous Freebirds or the executioner of WWE, Terry Bam Bam Gordy was one of the toughest superstars to ever lace up a pair of boots. That's a really solid bio. I really like that. It's short, it's sweet, but it's really solid. It's really good. And frankly, it's pretty descriptive with how little they put in there, so I'm good with that one. Right below that, we have a look at who else is in Series 108. This is a curious lineup here. We got Brock Lesnar, LA Knight, Bronson Reed, Omos, Chelsea Green, and once again, Terry Gordy. But that's pretty much all we need to know about the back of the box here, so I think without further ado, it's time for us to go ahead and get our Terry Gordy figure out of the box and into the ring. And here's our Terry Bam Bam Gordy now in the ring, ready for action. Very impressive. This is such a great looking figure. Wow. Again, I didn't think we'd ever get a Terry Gordy, but this is perfect. So, I became a fan of Terry Gordy because I got all my Japanese VHS tapes back in the day, and I started to learn more about who he was. I saw a bit of his brief time in ECW, and man, he just blew me away. And then I went back in time more to watch some of his stuff in other companies from older wrestling days. And then there's, of course, the WWE run, which is better left undiscussed. But man, this figure has got it all. And if this is Terry's only figure, this is probably going to be the ultimate version of him. So let's go ahead and start this by taking a look at that likeness. And let's ask the question of whether or not this looks like Terry Gordy. Does this look like our wrestler du jour? And yeah, absolutely does. I've always wondered what it would be like to have a Terry Gordy sculpt. Keep in mind, this is not a scan. Folks like to say scan. There's nothing to be scanned here. Terry Gordy has not been alive for quite some time, so they have not scanned anybody's head. They have digitally sculpted his head. And considering that, all they've got to work off of is a lot of years of grainy video, but I think they did a great job capturing a really wonderful likeness of Terry Gordy here. He has this kind of real wonderful softness to his face, which looks just like him. He's kind of just this, you know, off camera and off out of the ring. You know, we hear all the stories about him being this like lovable, if not sometimes a little crass prankster, who's pulled some pretty dirty tricks in his time, as well as a little bit of rage issues. But yeah, you look at this guy's face, and it just looks a lot like him. This ring's just like him, and just has a lot of personality in it. And I also really dig the hair, because he had this kind of like weird, crazy mop of hair on the top of his head, and I don't think that's easy to do, but I think that they've nailed it in the case of this head sculpt here. You know, I'm always a sucker for some good, wavy, wild, long hair as far as toys go, because it just looks cool when it's sculpted like that. But yeah, I think they definitely did Terry Gordy right here. This is top to bottom, excellent looking figure so far, and especially just, we're only focusing on the head, but yeah, the rest of it's pretty solid too. In fact, let's go ahead and, while we're here, let's go ahead and start looking down at the rest of our Terry Gordy figure. Let's talk about this figure, his pose, his physique. And so yeah, they definitely broke out some good stuff here for this figure. So granted, Terry Gordy's outfit, it's not exactly the hardest to do. It's just basically black boots, black knee pads, and black trunks. But what is more important is they got his body right, his physique, because he kind of had that tortoise shell stomach, if you will, which, you know, he was a big dude. He had big muscles, but he still had a bit of a six-pack at times on him. So yeah, they made a good choice here with the decision to go with this mold. Same with the arms too. You know, he's a big guy, but didn't necessarily have, you know, ginormous biceps or anything like that. You know, he had a good physique. He had a physique. It just wasn't necessarily Hogan-esque, but I think they really did a good job of getting his body correct here. So that looks good. And again, from behind, let's show you that. There's really nothing that different here, because after all, he's not wearing anything on top. It's just black trunks, black knee pads, black boots, white socks sticking out of them. It's an easy outfit. It really is. So that's why it comes down to all the little details to get it right. Because if you get one of those details wrong, then it's going to definitely look very, very wrong and very, very off. Let's talk about articulation now, because this is an elite figure and they got tons of mobility. We've got ourselves a ball-jointed neck, and it moves pretty well. You know, all things considered, you do have this giant lump of hair behind him, and that will hinder some movement, but that's not bad. That's pretty solid here. We've got ourselves ball-jointed shoulders with a great range of mobility, and we also now have double-jointed elbows on all elite figures, so you can get some really good posing here. We've got wrists that can bend and flex. Very solid to have there. Man, this just looks so fun to pose already. We've got our torso that can, same thing, flex and bend. His waist rotates. We got ourselves a nice, wow, a lot of flexibility in the legs there. We got thigh cut. We also have double-jointed knees and ankles that can also bend and flex. So tons of articulation, and the fact that he does have really no real complicated outfit whatsoever means you get to enjoy and reap the benefits of all of that articulation. So yeah, pretty basic as far as that goes, but here's where things start getting fun, and that's some of the accessories. I'm not going to go too deep into the hands, but he does come with an extra pair of hands. We have currently closed fists on him, and he also has open hands that you can attach to the forearm there. So that's a cool accessory, but that's kind of normal. What's a little bit more abnormal is the fact that he comes with this axe, and what's equally abnormal but helps kind of contextualize the axe is this. This is the Executioner cloak and head sculpt. So I think we need to spend some time on this especially. So excuse me, Terry, for a moment. But yeah, this is an accessory here, and this is how he looked in WWE when he was the Executioner for that brief, weird time. And yeah, instead of making a separate figure, they just made this a separate head. Let's see, there we go. So you can actually just pop the head out, and there you go. That's an additional Terry Gordy head sculpt. And yeah, we have all the entrance gear to go with it, as well as, I didn't realize this, we have his singlet too. Okay, I did not know that this was hiding in this packaging too. So I gotta dress up our Terry Gordy for a minute. Give me a second. And just like that, we now have two figures in one. Here is Terry Gordy dressed up now as the Executioner. So number one, I had to tell you guys, I am shocked how quickly I got this outfit on. I was legitimately worried this outfit was going to take forever to get on him. But no, it actually was super easy. Let's see if this hood actually does come down a little bit. You can better see his face there. This is so cool from like every possible angle. Wow, what a cool way to do this figure. And we rotate it from the back. You can see all of that cloth soft goods cape there. That looks excellent, really does. And he also has, you'll notice here, little tabs here. You're supposed to slide his forearms through that. I didn't do it just because I want to get this back off him pretty quickly. But yeah, you can actually attach it so you can open up his wingspan and show you all his cool stuff. And yeah, let's just go ahead. I want to show you guys the rest of this outfit too. So this does come off very easily, as you can see here. We'll get the axe off to the side for a second. And this is the rest of the outfit. Like, it's a second outfit. How cool is that? And we know this isn't going to be the last time that Mattel's doing this. We're going to see it coming up again with the WWE Legends Jim Neidhart coming out soon, which is going to have him in his high energy outfit as well as his Who wrestling outfit underneath it. But man, what a fun thing to do. And this is how it attaches, by the way. It's just Velcro on the back, but this thing was super easy to get on. It was, still very form-fitting, but not troublesome in any way. And yeah, here is that Executioner's axe that he comes with as well. So yeah, you want to talk about hardcore accessories. I don't think it gets much more hardcore than a wrestler carrying around a giant axe. So that is very cool. Man, yeah, that just kind of blows me away. I'm not like I'm a big fan of the Executioner. I don't know many people who were, but I'm a big fan of this Terry Gordy figure so far. Wow. So let's go ahead now and spend some time comparing him with a few other wrestling figures out there. And by that, I mean it's time for some size comparisons. So I've got a WWE Mattel Bret Hart on his left, and I've also got a Jerry the King Lawler on his right, assuming that Jerry will stand up straight. Let's hope that he does. Well, close enough, but you guys can see now, as far as size goes, how Terry's going to stand up among this roster. Granted, our Jerry the King Lawler is kind of leaning back a little bit because he's a little off-balanced for whatever reason. But yeah, here is how Terry's going to look side by side with some of his fellow wrestling Mattel toys. But how is he going to look compared to an AEW figure from Jazzwares? Well, I've got myself a Cody Rhodes right here. And let's go one step further now because we have some options in 2024. How does he look next to, here's a big shocker, a Power Town figure? Again, hoping he's going to stand up too. But here's a Kerry Von Erich we reviewed from the first wave of Power Town figures. Now, granted, Cody is no longer with AEW, but still, it's the figure that kind of matters here, the size, the look of him. And yeah, I think the biggest key difference I want to show you guys as far as other companies goes is how their bodies are. Because heights, well, okay, Kerry Von Erich looks pretty tall compared to the rest of these guys here, so that's definitely maybe not working for me. But it's really kind of the bodies. All the Jazzwares figures tend to be typically leaner. Even the bigger guys, because of the way they do the articulation, they tend to look kind of lean. Whereas Power Town, they're just enormous. They are caricatures of wrestlers, so they look super beefed up. I think it's a personal preference whether you like it or not. To be quite honest, the more I've looked at these figures, the kind of less I've enjoyed the bodies. But that's a whole other story for a different day, maybe another video. But yeah, overall, it is kind of cool to have these two guys together, right? Because again, that's two guys from similar eras, or close enough anyway. And Cody, well, maybe he's kind of the random one in the slot here. But yeah, point is, it's kind of cool to have this group together and see how they all look. And just look at the different wrestling toy styles we have here in 2024. So that's our Terry Bam Bam Gordy from WWE Elite Series 108. This is the dream Terry figure for me, and I know that they're not going to make any more after this, so yeah, in my opinion, this is a definite must-buy. The fact that you get a bonus Executioner, essentially, out of this deal is also amazing to me. That's not really a reason to buy it, but the fact is, that figure itself, once you put all the outfit, all the gear on, and of course, once you add the axe to it, it's pretty wild. It's really cool. I definitely like it, but my Terry Display Loose is going to be like this. And, now it really makes me sad I kind of missed out on the Michael Hayes figure, and I'm wondering if they're going to do maybe a re-release of that Michael Hayes, and maybe we'll get all the Freebirds, in fact, at one point. But now I'm just dreaming about other things. But yeah, overall, in case you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan of this figure. And if you're someone who likes the 80s, 90s wrestling as well, I think this is a must-have for your collection. If you want to pick up this figure for yourself, I'm going to have some links in my description of this video below, so click on any of those, and if you do that, it'll help this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. So until next time, I'm Matthew, this has been Nerd News Today. That's, one more time, WWE Elite Series 108 Terry Gordy, first time in the lineup. Don't miss out on this one, guys. So I'm Matthew, we'll see you guys next time here at Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and stay slammin'.